We're back with
What
the
up?
Almost History podcast, episode 3.
Episode 3. We're here. We got
Ben Gordon, what's up?
Logan Quiroz, and we're ready to gain some knowledge.
On history or conspiracies.
Remember that guy who used to be on he'd pop up on YouTube all the time, and he's like, knowledge. He's like, you see this Lamborghini I have in my garage? I don't even like it. Do you know what I like? Knowledge.
No.
You remember that guy? It was like Ty something? Ty Lopez. That's him. You don't remember Ty Lopez?
Nah.
He had his library. He's like, dude, I have a lot of things. But you know what I love more than anything? My books, because I get knowledge. He's a big knowledge guy, and that's how I feel right now. I'm ready to get some knowledge.
I used to use YouTube to watch bum fights. that was my thing.
Bum fights, that's good. I didn't watch those.
Or Kimbo Slice. That was.
I watched Kimbo Slice. I watched those fights.
You never watched bum fights? Like where it's just two bums and they just.
No, I know what it is, but as a youth, I never watched it. I was introduced to it
One of my
later.
favorite ones. I forgot the title of it, but it's these two bums outside like a club, and it's one of them just talking to, like, he's like talking at this guy. He's like, I'm tired of you being in my business, nigga. Every time I'm doing something, shit, you always gonna say something. And then he's like, stay out of my business, nigga. That's what the fuck you need to do. And then bang, just punches him in his face. And somebody remixed it, so it was like to a beat. And what the fuck you need to do? Bang, bang, bang. And I used to watch that shit nonstop. Some Hall of Fame bum fight.
Yeah, dude, you're too into violence.
I don't.
That's
think
your problem.
I just enjoy a good fight.
Do you watch the Pan Olympics?
Nah. Well, yeah. I mean, everyone.
I didn't. I just heard tales of it.
I didn't watch all of them, but
I don't watch any of that stuff, dude.
there's a couple of them where there's a couple I wish I didn't watch.
Well, give me the worst one.
The dude who cut his own dick off.
Heard about that one. That's the main one I heard of.
But then I heard that was fake, so I was like, all right. Then that's how I got to sleep at night.
Was it fake?
I'm gonna tell myself it was. It looked pretty real to me at the time. I was like 13, 14. I don't know. Internet used to be a wild place.
We have to do the next episode on that guy cutting his penis off. No, specifically that guy though.
I heard a bunch of stories. I heard that he killed himself or.
Yeah, I would.
Or I heard that. You ever watched it or heard about the Mr. Hands video? The dude who got plowed by a horse.
Oh, I heard about that one too.
We're gonna start a history podcast.
Yeah, I was thinking Mr. Hand from Super Smash Bros.
That's what you thought I was referencing. All right. Well, anyway,
I've heard about that before, but whenever I hear about that, the first thing I think of is Super Smash Bros. Mr. Hand.
You need to grow up.
Grow up what? And grow into having sex with horses?
I didn't say that.
You're a pervert, dude.
It's odd that you would take that approach or take that direction from what I said.
You're the one who brought it up.
Well, I was gonna say the rumor I'd heard was that the dude in the Mr. Hands video was the same guy who had who was in the Pan Olympics video.
Well, after you chop your penis off, you have nothing to lose. You go for that horse.
Or you become a world-renowned swimmer in NCAA.
Did she have full surgery?
I would hope. I don't know. This is gonna get.
Yeah, we're getting out of hand. We always start these things out of hand, but then we get into history.
All right. Well, let's get into history. Fuck it.
Hell yeah.
So all right.
I'm excited to hear what this is.
I'm excited to share this one. I'm just the right amount of high. I think I'm not gonna get too lost mid-sentence. I was afraid of that. So for this podcast, sometimes we do, conspiracies. Sometimes we're gonna do, just like big events, whatever. But also sometimes we're gonna do just highlight people, just incredible people in history, whatever. I have a question for you.
Okay.
Who is the greatest pirate of all time?
Pirate?
Pirate.
Blackbeard.
Blackbeard the pirate. No.
Davy Jones.
No.
One more guess?
Go ahead.
Long John Silver.
Doesn't even exist. That's just a food chain. I looked it up too. It doesn't exist. So we'll go into this. But pirates, you know anything about pirates or not?
They're
outside of Pirates of the Caribbean or whatever.
Minimal. They would pillage ships.
Okay. Yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. I know I've always had a slight interest in pirates only because Jamaica. My family's from Jamaica, and
those kind of pirates.
and Jamaica has they weren't.
This is back to the thug conversation we had before. Remember you said thugs, and I was like,
you imagined. Oh,
Yeah.
I said gangster, and you imagined.
No, you said thug.
I said thug, and you imagined just some hoodlums because you're racist.
And then you said they were Italian or something no, then you said they were mobsters, and I was like, oh, Italian guys.
I still mean Blackbeard. Blackbeard, he was a pirate in. That's where he pirated around the season.
Oh wait, so is this about Blackbeard?
No.
Oh.
This is about the greatest pirate of all time. I'm just explaining why I have an interest in pirates.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Like, you ever see the Jamaican flag? I would hope.
Yeah.
How it's like the Jamaican flag is derived from like a skull and crossbones.
Oh, I didn't know that.
They just removed the skull. Obviously, they kept the X of the crossbones and added their own flavor to it. But Jamaica has a long-standing history with pirates. You know Captain Morgan, like the drink.
Yeah.
It's based on Henry Morgan, a pirate who I think was from England somewhere. And then he ended up becoming a part of like Jamaican like government and parliament and all that stuff. Yeah, Jamaica has a long-standing history of pirates. None of them are the greatest of all time, though. The greatest pirate of all time is actually in the opposite side of the world, in China.
What, a Chinese pirate?
Chinese pirate.
Dude, I like where this is going.
All right, let's get into it.
Never heard of this.
I'm gonna break this down just to get the context of where we're going. So I'm gonna break it down, just the context of China at this time, and then get into the person I'm talking about.
This is basically One Piece.
You're
You're going into real life One Piece right now.
Well, that's Japanese, so let's not get, that's
My bad.
those are two different cultures.
Whoopsie.
Two different beautiful
Whoops.
cultures that are not similar at all.
Honest mistake.
Yeah. All right. Well, so this is back in the Ching dynasty, and before you have any funny remarks, it's spelled with a Q. Okay. So everything you think you know about this.
Qing.
Qing.
It's pronounced Ching.
Ching. The Ching dynasty.
I really threw a monkey wrench in that one.
Ching dynasty lasted between 16. Let me get the actual numbers out before I screw this part up. 1636 and 1912.
Dang.
Yeah.
Qing dynasty. The Qings were rolling.
It was a dominant dynasty. This is, you ever heard of the Opium Wars? When,
yeah. Oh, the Qings were doing that?
This was in that time frame. It's also around like the Confucius era where Confucianism
I know him. Confucius say.
became a big thing, which is a philosophy religion, which male dominated philosophy religion started going all around China.
Yeah, back when philosophy was good.
And this is, again, just to go more into the Qing dynasty. So at this time in China, their population exploded, right? So it went from about like 50 million to 120 million.
Jeez,
over
and how long?
Over the course of like 30 to 40 years. Whew. And then it jumped again from 120 million to, by the time the dynasty ended, it was 450 million.
Oh my God!
By the time the dynasty ended in 1912, it was already the largest country in the world in terms of population. Most people.
Was there a reason behind
Well, at this time in China, they had a prolonged peace. They had a lot of they didn't have a lot of wars going on at their time.
Uh-huh.
They had a lot of expansion in terms of just the government was able to, or their armies were able to just take a lot of land and everything, and it they were just prosperous, peaceful times.
Yeah, so there's nothing else to do but just build your family.
Yeah, and build the next generation of whatever. So a couple things also taken at this time. So they had a good trade record with the West, and an abundance of food and the extended peacetime, which is why they had the growth or whatever. Mm. But something to remember also is that China today is a pretty rural country. It's not really. I think when we think of China, at least for me, I think of like Beijing or like Shanghai. I think of like the thousands of skyscrapers.
I think of sweatshops.
Sure, whatever. That's fair. That's fair. Yeah. But most of China is still pretty like
rice patties.
Yeah, stuff like that, whatever.
Yeah.
Back then, it was even that times 1,000, whatever. It's just the country is not industrialized at all.
You know how we were talking earlier before the pod about like what kind of city would be good for me, and you're like, you know what? Maybe you're not for the city. Dude, a nice rice paddy field. That sounds nice and relaxing to me. Give me one of those hats. Let me out in the rice paddy field. That sounds relaxing, dude. Just like
I don't think your back could take it.
probably not. Just not for like a vacation. I probably couldn't. I couldn't do rice paddy work every day.
Vacation is to go pick rice in a field.
No, but just get to know the people, kind of.
You're not that white. This is weird. You got white people tendencies.
It just sounds like in the movies, the
like
hard work of the rice paddy fields. I don't want to do that part.
That's all it is.
That sounds. But like, do you know how in movies sometimes you see them kind of? There's like the nice music in the background. There's like a beautiful skyline.
Yeah, they're not hearing that in the movie.
I know, but that sounds nice. The image of that sounds nice to me.
I don't know how to respond. You hear this guy?
A nice rice paddy field doesn't sound relaxing to you?
Do you think when you're there, like picking the rice, whatever, you think you're gonna be hearing music?
Maybe just the view of that.
Have some AirPods.
Maybe I'd sit down. Exactly. I throw on some AirPods. I sit down on a reclining chair on the side of the rice paddies, and I watch them patty the rice.
That's a different type of trip.
Yeah, that changed really quickly.
That went from being like a nice, peaceful, whatever vacation to just a racist excursion.
It seems relaxing. It seems tranquil.
Work the field.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like they're working too hard though. You know what I mean? It seems more like a relaxing work day. I'm digging myself into a hole. You see what I'm saying though? It's in the movies when you see that
I'm woke.
It seems nice. It seems like a nice way to live. Even like same with like an American farm, you know, in the videos. I'm talking white farm. I'm talking milking the cow farm.
Okay, all right.
You know, it looks nice. It's like, wow, maybe I should do that. Maybe I should milk a couple cows and chill. But it's not. You got to get up early. It's very hard work. But in theory, that seems like a nice thing I'd want to do. That's what I'm trying to say.
You just want to work the field is what you're saying.
But like in a relaxing way.
Okay. You can tell you never put in actual work. You have delicate, soft hands. You just
My grandpa had a farm, dude.
That doesn't mean you did.
I'd go up there, I'd ride the ATVs around, and I'd say, hey, get to work over there. I'd ride the horse.
That'd probably break his heart if he heard that his grandson is aspiring to work the fields. What the hell is that? Like he had a farm, did all that shit, had the next generation, and then a generation after that is like, you know what I want to do? I want to work the fucking fields. Fuck being a doctor. Fuck being a...
That's not... I did used to... Actually, that's why it sounds so nice to me, dude. My grandpa had his farm. We'd go up there for vacation. We'd do it for a couple days, like 2 days. We'd go out there. We'd go with the horses.
Oh, that's why you think you could just stop.
Yeah.
You think it's a 2-day thing.
I'm like, wow, it was a nice 2 days of farming. Back home, we go.
A whole year's worth of crops off of 2 days.
We start at like noon. We're like, yeah, time to start a day of farming. They're almost done. We go up, we look at a couple cows, we slap them on the belly, we say, nice. Let's hit the road.
All right, let's get back to the history of this. Where did I leave off? Oh, yeah, so a lot of people back then in China are mostly farmers at this time because it's mostly farmland and niggas need food to eat. It's pretty simple. So a big thing that China would do, the government, they would like subsidize land and they would give out land to people to tow or to till, whatever, to work. Mm-hmm. And that was same thing in America. Government, even to this day, they give out land to people, to farmers, and they subsidize land, give out grants and all that stuff. Difference is, though, in America, we had like the Industrial Revolution at some point. So then jobs and all that stuff became diversified. We were able to take the workload off of the farms and go into factories, go into cities and all that stuff. China, again, they're still working to become urbanized and industrialized to this day. They don't have that luxury. And at this time, their population is just going through the roof. It's booming. So there's not enough land to give out, essentially. So the land that the Chinese government is starting to give out to these people is like the smaller plots, or like the land. It's like unworkable land because they're just you just get what you get at this point. So people can't work anymore. They like can't be farmers essentially. So a lot of them, especially in the southern part, Guangdong. I'm gonna fuck
Guangdong.
I'm gonna fuck up all these pronunciations. I don't mean to. I got a Westerner's tongue. But in the Guangdong, it's like southern China area, right? And a lot of these people in that area. So this area was like famous. It had it had a history of piracy in this area just because it's right next to the South China Sea and everything. Mm-hmm. So everyone in this area essentially just was like, all right, well, we can't get farmland. We're just gonna start becoming pirates and start robbing niggas essentially, and they just hit the high seas and
Sick.
like thousands of people just become pirates and everything. At the same time, interestingly enough, also at this time, to go backtrack a second, so China wasn't the government, so it wasn't modernized. This dynasty, even though everything it was prosperous and had a lot of wealth in terms of food, whatever. It wasn't. It didn't modernize anything. The government was pretty centralized to one city. So as they expanded their territory, they weren't able to expand like officials into those places as fast as they were expanding their territory. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like warlords essentially just started like local authorities ran the areas. And those just became warlords essentially, and the warlords would they had access to the ships and everything. They just became pirates, and it got kind of violent for a little while because they started ruling with like an iron fist. But
rice paddies got a lot less relaxing around that time.
Yeah, let me finish history next time before you butt in and say you want to travel back. What else did I want to say about that? Oh yeah, so also at this time, there's a war going on in Vietnam. Vietnam borders China, especially it borders South China, so right in this area. Mm-hmm. So there was this thing called the Tay Son Dynasty Rebellion, whatever. It was a rebellion that lasted 14 years. It was from these Vietnamese peasants against like the royalty at the time. It was led by like these three brothers or whatever, and it was an opportunity for all these brand new pirates to have work. They essentially were all hired in as like they called them privateers, but they were hired in as like mercenaries essentially. Yeah. So all these pirates who had nothing to do, the Vietnamese who were fighting for the rebellion or whatever, hired them in and brought them in. You know what I'm saying?
So the Vietnamese hired the Chinese privateers.
Right.
Okay, gotcha.
To work for them as essentially mercenaries.
Okay, against China.
No, against the Tay Son, against their own rebellion that they were having in Vietnam at the time.
Oh, they were having. It was like a civil war in Vietnam, and they're like, "Yo, we need the Chinese to get these guys in check."
Right, exactly. They're having their own little battle, so they went over there and they're like, "All right, whatever." All right, so that's just all that was just to break down the backdrop for this. Mm-hmm. So I'm just giving you the context for the world we're going into.
Yeah.
Right? So you good?
I'm good.
All right.
Rice paddies, not fun. Gotcha.
So this is the greatest pirate of all time. This is their origin story.
Hell yeah.
We don't even know their name essentially, because that's how little of a that's how irrelevant they were to start off with. So their name that we call them, but they have like 3 different names. I'm gonna use 2 to start off with. So one is Zhang Ying Sao, and the other one is Ching Shih. I'll go into both of those.
So is this one person or is this like a group's name?
It's one person.
Okay.
But they had a few different names as time goes on, just because that's culturally how they do things over there, especially at this time. Mm-hmm. Because this person is a woman.
What?
Yeah. So this person, so the first name that this person has is Zhang Yi Sao, which is wife of Zhang Yi. They don't even have their own name. We don't know what their name was.
Dang.
But we know they were born like around 1771 in Guangdong. And so in this area where all this piracy and all this stuff is going on, this is where this person is born into, right? Mm-hmm. So 15 or 20 years later, about Zhang Yi Sao she's a prostitute, and she's working on a floating brothel somewhere in Guangdong. And she's renowned for like her beauty, whatever. Because at this time in China, that was, if you weren't like a family to like someone of status, that was the only way you were gonna make it as a woman. It's just prostitute,
15-year-old prostitute,
or she was 26. So I had a date still mix up, but prostituting or just you gotta get work hard, hustle.
Yeah,
you're not gonna, because it's like a patriarchal society at this time. So women have like very little. Again, her name is wife of the person that she.
You gotta do something,
right?
So at this time, she is a wife.
No, she's not. But that her.
Dang, someone made a hoe into a housewife over there.
Well, all right. So let's get. All right. So she was renowned for her beauty, right? Mm-hmm. And the interesting thing about her is because she's prostituting in like the pirate like capital of the world at this point, she's constantly dealing with like crazy powerful dudes.
Yeah.
Like, so she's using her like services as a way to like just gather information. And so while she's sleeping with people, dudes bust a nut and then they start talking.
Yeah. Oh, so she's sleeping with like top level pirates and stuff.
She's sleeping with all like the head level pirates in the area, and she's just gathering intel on them. And then based on how she chose to move, she would know, oh, this person's gonna be this area, or oh, this person, and she would like get people set up, or she would, but all the while she was rising, like her own status was like rising because people knew her as like she was like a very wise and cunning kind of like savvy kind of lady, which was not saying it was rare for this time, but it was rare to be acknowledged as one of those. For this time, you know what I'm saying? And also she was beautiful. So, one of these days in 1801, she meets Zhang Yi. That's where she gets her name from. He comes in and meets her on the brothel. So going to Zhang Yi, I want to go into him a little bit. He was born in 1765 in Guangdong, and he came from like everyone in his family was just pirates. Generations upon generations of pirates. Oh, wow. And he himself was a privateer, and his family he himself was he was a personal beacon, like a vessel to get the privateers into Vietnam. Like he was responsible. One of the biggest reasons that the Chinese pirates started going to Vietnam to fight for the rebellion was because he was like, this is a way for us to make money and everything. And he had an idea where he wanted, because it was like thousands upon thousands of people over there, and they were all essentially like individual mercenaries working for whoever hired them. He wanted to centralize all of them. That was his ultimate goal, was to bring all of them together and make like one giant like pirate army kind of thing.
That would be sick.
And he wanted to be like the king of the pirates, essentially. So you said One Piece. I guess we could bring that back in.
Thank you. It was One Piece.
Yeah, but
Chinese One Piece.
People actually die in this, and there's real bloodshed.
I've only seen one episode of One Piece,
and no one died.
Nope. No one ever dies in One Piece?
I've been told they do. Theo is a huge One Piece fan.
Theo, do they die in One Piece? He says they do.
Yeah, he's a very big One Piece fan. He's probably upset that I'm talking like this right now. I was big into Dragon Ball Z. That was my thing.
Hell yeah, same.
Kid. Did you see that fan made Dragon Ball Z like mini movie thing that came out? It's like 10 minutes long.
I was literally right before the podcast. I opened it up. If I open up my YouTube right now, it's just starting.
Oh, that was dope. And the voices kind of sound like he got similar actors to how they sound. Anyway, so back to the story. So that was Zhang Yi, right? So Zhang Yi comes in and he meets Zhang Yi Sao at the brothel, and he falls in love with her, and he's like, I want to marry you.
Simp.
There are a couple different versions of the story. One is that he like came in and was like, I want to marry you, like on the spot. Another one is that he kidnapped her or like had her kidnapped and brought to his ship, and was like, I'm taking you for mine.
That sounds more piratey to me.
You going with that one?
Yeah, I like that one more.
All right, well, that's debated, right? This next part apparently is not debated at all. Don't ever open your legs to me like that again.
Just more comfy.
Same basic instinct. Don't ever do no shit like that again. So she agreed to marry him on one condition. And the condition was that she was not going to be a housewife, essentially. She was going to be an admiral in his fleet and have control of like 50% of his army. She wanted to be like an equal to him in his pirating whatever escapades.
Dang. Andrew Tate would not allow this.
Zhang Yi would, and he said yeah. He agreed.
She must have been hot as hell,
or just wild, had crazy dirt. She must have been like the Jeffrey Epstein of the time.
Oh yeah, one of those too.
And she just knew like, hey, I'm gonna. Although I mean, he could have just killed her, so that doesn't make too much sense.
She might have been 12. Well, imagine if a child pulled that to Epstein. He's like, "Yo, let me be the admiral of your pedophile ring."
That'd be a sick fucking kid.
Yeah. Well, you got. It's like Zhang Yi, dude. He's the pirate boy.
Where you going with this?
I don't know. Well, you made the Epstein comparison. I'm like, hey, maybe someone could have pulled this with him. Blackmail to power.
All right. Well, if like a 16-year-old, because a 12-year-old is just not that cunning.
True. 16 is good, but they'll get you in more trouble.
You think?
All right.
I feel like a 12-year-old would get you way more trouble.
I distracted this.
If you had I'll get back to it, whatever. So they agree to get married. She agrees to marry him, and together they just start like running through China and running through provinces or running through like small like fishing villages and everything, and start taking shit over. Because he had a resource of like he had a bunch of ships to his name, and she just had her like military, like she had like a military prowess to her, and she was just a cunning, again, smart chick. I don't know how else to say that, but so together combined with his strength and her smarts, they were
the ultimate power couple.
Ultimate power couple.
This was Jay-Z and Beyonce.
The ultimate. What's their thing? Like
Beyonce.
Is that what it is?
I don't know.
That could be someone's name. That's the one. All right. Anyway, so in 1801, give you all some context for the time.
Jay-Z.
1801. They ransack a fishing village, right? And they kidnap a 15-year-old kid, Cheng Pao, right? So this is where things get a little interesting. So Zheng Yi really likes Cheng Pao, like really likes him, and like starts fucking him. Like they have like a sexual relationship.
Dang.
Even though he's 15 years old, which was not uncommon. You good?
Sounds that.
Yeah, so they have he starts a sexual relationship with Cheng Pao, who's 15.
So this guy was Epstein.
I mean, yeah, there was no. I guess he's a pirate. Yeah, he's on the Shanty Seas. He could do whatever he wants.
Epstein was on an island, dude.
And apparently, homosexuality and bisexuality, is it? Those were not like they were pretty common amongst these pirating folk.
It's weird how we went from like a time, like it used to be like, yeah, dude, you fuck boys. That's just what you do. Like Greek philosophers and stuff, these pirates, you just have sex with young boys. And then not only did having sex with young boys became like bad, but then there was a time where having sex with men at all, they're like, ew, that's gay, that's gross. And now we're coming back around to like, okay, cool, you could be gay. Probably soon, gonna be cool fucking boys again. Kevin Spacey's already, dude.
What's his name? Milo. Remember that guy?
Oh yeah, Milo Yiannopoulos.
Yeah, he was a boy fucking men apparently, and he got a.
Yeah.
I haven't heard from that guy since he said that. That was
a wild take.
Yeah, let's not go down that same path. Anyway, so yeah, he starts a relationship with Cheng Pao, like a homosexual relationship, and apparently Zheng Yi Sao also had a relationship with Cheng Pao. They both are just fucking this kid.
So this kid's killing it.
And on top of that, they adopt him because they wanted to have like a heir, like a protege, like set up to continue their reign or whatever from whenever they died. So they adopt him and just kept fucking him the whole time. They pulled like a Woody Allen essentially. They're just fucking the kids.
That's nuts. Yeah, a little Asian kid too. That
yeah,
is Woody Allen.
They pulled a Woody, or Woody pulled a Zhang Ji.
Poor kid. He was just chilling in the rice paddies, dude. He's like, his life doesn't get more relaxing than this. Then next thing you know, he just swooped up.
Yeah, that must have been a hell of a couple months for that kid.
Dude, he wanted to get back to the rice paddy fields.
Like his family is murdered or whatever. He's taken prisoner and then or kidnapped or whatever.
And then just getting his cheeks clapped. Dang.
All right, so July. This is the start of the domination.
The start of the domination. Seems like the domination already started.
God.
In the bedroom with the boy.
I mean, it seems like he was in on it. I mean, or cool with it, I guess. Because he could have like.
What, he could have spoke up and said, "Hey, you cannot rape me today."
He could have went to HR. But hey,
these pirates are really not cool.
The CEO is raping me. This is
yeah.
But again, it was common for those times apparently. So in
crazy times.
July in 1802, this is where things get interesting. 1802 July, the Tay Son Rebellion, that thing in Vietnam. Remember I told you about it? That ends. It's over.
No. Nice. So
now there's like thousands and thousands of like privateers who have nowhere to go and like no work to do. So Jace, so I'm gonna start calling her Ching Shih,
okay.
our main heroine, just because it's easy for me. So Ching Shih was like, all right, we're gonna go into Vietnam and we're gonna take all those pirates and we're gonna have them line up with us essentially, and we're gonna have them work for us. And this kind of worked out with Zhang Ji because his original plan was he wanted to unionize essentially all those privateers out there anyway.
Mhm.
So he was all for it. So they go in and they recruit all those pirates, and they bring them into their fleet, and then they create 6 fleets from all these pirates that they have, and they have 6 flags for each to represent the fleet. So it's red, black, white, green, blue, and yellow. Those are the 6 fleets they have right under their control. By 1804, they're like full capacity, full power, whatever, ready to rumble. And the Red Fleet is the most powerful amongst them. It has 300 ships and
Jesus.
40,000 men, right?
Oh my God.
And in total, they have 400 ships and 70,000 men.
Jesus.
To give you a comparison, so you brought up Blackbeard before, right? So Blackbeard, at his height, which only lasted 2 years, at his height, he had 4 ships with 400 men. Captain Morgan, at his height, he had 36 ships with 1,900 men. They got 400 ships with 70,000 men.
That's insane. That's an army.
Yeah, they're a navy on the seas, just all and they're all unified underneath. So the way that she broke it down, Ching, because she was smart. When she instilled like commanders into these fleets, she set up like marriages, or she set up like alliances. So whoever were commanded in the fleet, they were loyal to her and Zhang Ji, you know what I'm saying, and Cheng Pao. They were loyal to the central command, whatever the fuck it was.
Yeah.
Like she was smart bitch. How I want to get into this next part. Okay, so in 1807, Zheng Yi dies.
Dang.
It's kind of
R.I.P.
it's questioned how he died, but most stories agree, like they go with the fact that, or the idea that he died like in a storm. He might have fell overboard, or he might have been pushed overboard. They don't know, but he died in the storm, right? So now we have to go back to, so Ching Shih means widow of Shih, whatever.
Yeah.
Zhang Shih. So that her again, she never really had her own name. She was always the
widow of, husband of.
Yeah, wife of. But she was always the
wife of.
So traditionally at this time in China, if a woman became a widow, she would just like, you watch Game of Thrones a little bit.
Very little, yeah.
Did you see when Khal Drogo died? You saw when he dies.
Oh yeah.
And Daenerys has to like go back to the village, and like she's supposed to like live the rest of her days out like in this like village of other widow bitches.
That's how it should be.
That's how it was in this time in China.
Good. If I die and my lady's there, send her to the widow factory.
And just sit there and knit all day?
Yeah. Don't go look for another man. No. You had your chance. Now I'm gone. Go be sad.
You had your
go
chance,
mourn me.
And I died.
Yeah, go mourn me. That's the thing. Your job is to keep me safe. And if I die, as a wife, you keep me fed, keep me healthy, keep me fueled to combat any danger. If I die, you didn't do your job. Go to the widow factory.
What if it's like cancer or something?
Should have kept me safe, dude. Don't have me eating microplastics or whatever I'm doing.
All right. Well, China was on that same wave back in this time. So if a girl became a widow, it was essentially that she just goes back to like her home and just doesn't do anything for the rest of her life. But Ching Shih was like, I'm not doing that. You could suck my dick. So what she did is, because she had these people in the fleet placed there as loyalists to her and whatever, they were cool with her staying around. So she marries Cheng Pao, the boy. She marries him and immediately puts him at the head of the Red Fleet, the biggest fleet that they have. She puts him at the top of it.
How old is he at this time? Do you know?
He's probably like 22, somewhere around there.
He's had a crazy 7 years.
Yeah, he's I mean, to go from being kidnapped, but now you're the head of you're the king of the pirates essentially.
Yeah,
point.
it paid off.
Yeah, if One Piece was like that, I'd watch it way more.
He really did start from the bottom, power bottom.
Oh, this is what she did also.
Power bottom.
I'm supposed to laugh.
Started from the bottom, power bottom.
Started.
from the power bottom.
What's the next lyric? Keep going.
No, that was the joke.
Yeah, started for the keep going. Make more.
Started from the bottom. That's it. Power bottom. That was the
joke. All right. So Cheng Pao is the head in charge, right? But really, it's Ching Shih. Really, she's the one who's pulling the strings or whatever. And she instills like this code of the pirates, and she has like 4 rules that she sends out to the entire fleet of 70,000 men. And this is all kind of to instill that she doesn't get overthrown or whatever. Rule number 1: order should only come from command. If a pirate disobeys an order or gives their own order, like if a lower tier pirate gives their own order, they are to be decapitated on the spot.
I like it.
She's not playing around.
Not at all.
Number 2, after a raid, the loot that was captured, the pirates were allowed to keep 20%. The rest went to like a central fund that was used to like fund, for food, whatever else you need.
That's smart.
If you didn't give, more than if you didn't give your share, whatever, or if you stole from that fund, decapitated on the spot.
Nice.
Number 3, women captured during the raids could not be harmed. You couldn't rape them. You couldn't whatever, because they were valuable. The ones who were attractive were sold into like to be like whores, right? And the ones who were ugly were just freed.
Oh, I thought she was like a feminist at first. The ugly ones were just free?
She just freed them. If you were ugly, she was like, I can't make any money, so just get out of here.
That must be tough if you thought you were hot and you're like, no, they're gonna sell me, and they're like, hit the road, lady.
Just
you're like, wait, what?
Well, that must be tough because now what is she gonna do? Like, I'm too ugly to be a whore. That's crazy.
Yeah, I can't get sold. What about the boys,
can't
dude?
Get sold. I didn't see a rule about the boys. I guess
she might be storing those for herself.
Well, they probably killed the boys.
Yeah.
If they're ransacking a town.
True.
Those who didn't surrender were just murked on the spot.
Dang, ugly ones just get sent back.
If a pirate raped a woman, they'd have their head chopped off on the spot. And the only way to get out of that was if you took the woman as like your wife or your concubine or whatever. But then if you did that and you cheated on her, you were then killed on the spot. She's not.
Dang, she is a feminist.
Yeah, she's not playing around. If you take a woman, you're gonna love her forever. And then so she had also.
That's just a crazy concept. To be like, if you rape this lady, you're gonna date her.
Yeah, well,
you're gonna stay. That's crazy.
It's the shotgun marriage.
But it's crazy that's like a way out.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's I'm trying. Yeah, I guess it's crazy that's what she was. All right, yeah, commit.
Yeah,
she's the ultimate. That's the ultimate friend, I guess, where she's making sure that these girls like have committed relationships.
Yeah, that is the most like progressive thing you could do at that time. Yeah. For sexual assault, because like today you're just like, no, you're going to prison, but back then
you're gonna marry them.
You're gonna stay with her
and you're gonna treat her right. You're not gonna cheat on her, and if you do, you're gonna chop your fucking head off. And so I don't know if I mentioned this before, but as they were rising, whatever, through they had established relationships with like farming and fishing villages, like on the coast of these fishing towns, whatever. Mm-hmm. And so her 4th rule was if you harm or like raid a friendly village, or if you bring danger or whatever to one of these villages,
decapitated on the spot.
Then there was another one where it was like if you like deserted your post or whatever, they would find you, catch you, chop your ears off, and then they would like parade you around the other pirates and like to embarrass you essentially. So she's not. She came through and
she's ruthless.
Yeah, but
you're gonna follow those rules.
Yeah, she instilled the iron fist. And at this time, again, Confucianism was like it was big in China, like I said before. Mm-hmm. So and a lot of these pirates were religious, right? They were heavily religious. So she had like a temple built onto like the fleets, whatever, right? And what she would do is, her and Cheng Pao would meet with like these priests. Like beforehand, right? They meet with these priests for like 20 minutes, but hey, we're gonna go raid this village. We're gonna murder like 10,000 people. You're gonna tell these pirates it's cool. You're gonna tell them it's God's will, whatever. Tell them it's cool. Tell them whatever. So then they'd have like a big grand like a religious ceremony with one of their whatever, and they would Ching Shih and Cheng Pao would both they would say the plan. Oh, we're gonna raid this village or whatever, and then the priest would be like, oh, the gods say they favor your plan. Like they would pay off the priest, and then all the pirates would go, all right, the gods' plan. Then we're all in. Like they would
God's plan.
Yeah, they would play that song. That's actually where Drake got the. He sampled that song. So she also. You ever watch Sons of Anarchy?
Yeah.
You seem like a Sons of Anarchy.
I watched that.
Yeah, I bet you love
Jax?
that show. Yeah. Remember how Jax always wanted to like legitimize Sam Crow? You always wanted to make him go legitimate.
Yeah.
That was her thing too. She was like, we're gonna legitimize this fleet of pirates, but instead of getting out of guns, she wanted to get into salt because salt was like a big commodity at this time. So between 1807 and 1810, just to get some context for where we are like in the world, in America at this time, Thomas Jefferson is president. So we're on our third president back in the States. Just to give because for me sometimes when I'm like doing world history, I lose context of like where everything is at. But yeah, so that's just
Thomas Jefferson.
So yeah, so while America is trying to figure out how to how to not have slaves or whatever, this lady's over here just running the entire pirate like game in South China and the South China Sea. She's whatever.
She's killing it.
So the salt trade between 1807 and 1810, the Chinese government had like 270 ships between these two regions that were they would like, deliver salt between like one region and then Canton. I forgot the first one, but between two regions they were going back and forth. Ching Shih she sent like two like squadrons, like two ships out there, whatever, to go take over the salt trade. After a few months, so out of 270 ships, the Chinese government had 4 ships remaining underneath their control. The rest were Ching Shih's.
Jesus.
But she didn't steal the ships. What she would do is she would go to the crews on the ships and be like, hey, you're working for me now. She would tax them, tariffs and all that stuff, but all of the money they paid it to her instead, and the Chinese government just accepted it. They realized they couldn't
stop her.
They couldn't do shit to her.
Oh my god.
And like merchants, like from other countries, so the Chinese government couldn't keep them safe. They couldn't ensure your safety because the army, the pirates were too strong. So the merchants would just pay off they would just pay the pirates. They were like, all right, whatever you want, we'll just pay you. And they would go to Ching Shih because she controlled everything essentially. So if she gave you protection, then you were good. I don't know what to compare her to. There's no like she's like Genghis Khan of the seas essentially.
Yeah.
She so because of her reach and her influence or whatever, she controlled everything. Also, like so, the coast, like the villages, the fishing villages, they all paid her, or they would give her like military information, whatever. Because China was trying to stop them the whole time. Yeah. So, but these fishing villages and these coastal villages, they were like, they were loyal to her because when they were afraid of. It was kind of like how the mob in Italy, whatever. Like they would like force y'all to they would force people to need their protection. You know what I'm saying? Like. If they would like bully, it's like bully tactics essentially.
Yeah.
If you don't plomo o plato essentially. You ever heard of that from Pablo Escobar?
No.
Letter plomo o plato, letter whatever, letter silver. Essentially, either you make a deal with me and take the silver, or you take the lead and you take a bullet to your head essentially. And that's how she was running this whatever. She created an intelligence service for she had like spies essentially set up all throughout Guangdong region, all throughout even parts of Vietnam. She just had people that would report back to her like Littlefinger in Game of Thrones.
Dang, dude, this is crazy.
And then she set up like she had the foresight. She had like protection fleets, and she had like intimidation fleets set up. So she's had like 6 ships that were like gigantic. But over the top, gigantic. She had them built up so they were bigger than they needed to be, so they would be more intimidating. And they would shoot off cannons. And while they're shooting off cannons, you don't even realize that there were like 4 or 5 or like 10 smaller ships coming in to actually ransack whatever you like. She was like, you know what I'm saying? Like she would distract you with a bigger target and then like flank you with her own men essentially. It was and she had like protective fleet set up. Like Cheng Pao had like 30 ships and 1,000 men, like just to protect him, like just to guard him and everything. And the Chinese government, they would send ships out to whatever to try to thwart them, but nothing worked. There was one battle. So in 1808, they sent the military chief of this the Zhejiang province, and he had 135 ships that were sent out with him. So they sent this guy out. He dies immediately. In the first like 6 minutes of the battle, they stabbed him and killed him. And like 4 months later, the rest like 45 ships returned out of 135. Like 45 they don't lose. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like
they're decimating everyone.
They also had at the same time. So in 1809, they had over the course of 3 days, they fought off 5 American ships. They stole there was Portugal had like dealings in Vietnam or whatever, and they had some type of government set up. They stole a governor of Portugal. They stole one of his ships. And they also beat the shit out of Siam. Like Siam had sent out some like recon whatever to like go see what was going on and to go maybe deal with some of these pirates. And they over 3 days, 3 different nations got their asses whooped by this
gang of pirates.
By this gang of pirates. So Portugal and Britain had offered, because they also they stole like a couple ships from like the East India Company, which was England. That's what Britain owned at that time. So Britain and Portugal both were like, hey, we'll help you like take care of these guys. They offered a lot of times, and at first the Chinese government was like, nah, we're not gonna. It was like a cultural thing. They're like, we don't want any Western help. But then eventually they were like, all right, we need some fucking help. We can't. Yeah. And Ching Shih went to she went to the Portuguese like pirate or Portuguese navy, and she like offered them like gold and to like change sides. They didn't, but they needed to enact like 3 different nations to come and fight these people. That's how powerful they were. How I want to get into this. So how do you think this ends? Knowing that it's China now, Portugal, England.
I don't know. She's just it's so dominant, but at the same time, it's like she's gotta be stopped, right? With all these governments, you think, okay, this is gonna take her out.
Okay.
Get these guys together. They'll take her out. But by the way you're asking me this question, I feel like
it's 1809.
They're not gonna take her out.
It's 1809 when she has that 3-day course of they take out the Americans, they take out British ships, they take out Siam. That's 1809. All right. So how much longer do you think she lasts?
10 years.
10 years. Okay. You think she's pirating for 10? I don't know what I'm doing. This is stupid. All right. I'll just give you the answer. So 1810, just the very next year, things are starting to not come apart, but they're starting to wind down. Because she has the pressure from these 3. You know, England is like a serious navy. And even she realizes like, all right, they're not playing around. She has pressure from all these nations on her back, and also just within the pirating gang, there's just people. You know, the cookie eventually is gonna crumble. You know what I'm saying? Like something, it just comes apart eventually. And she was starting to see, I think, the light at the end of the tunnel. So she went to the Chinese government and she offered them a deal. So February 21st, 1810, Ching Shih and Cheng Pao, they meet with this guy Pai Ling. He was the government general of the region that Guangdong was in. So the area that they were pirating and that they controlled for all those years, this guy was the general of that area, government general. And they also met with this guy Miguel Jose Dariaga, who was the Portuguese governor from Macau, who was one of the nearby nations that they had like a government set up in or whatever. And Ching Shih, she offers to dismantle the fleet, the entire like colored 6-color fleet. She offers to dismantle it on the one condition that her and all of her men receive complete immunity. Cheng Pao and other heads of her pirating gang are given official titles into the Chinese government, and also they get to keep 80 ships and 5,000 men at their personal control. That's autonomous or independent from the Chinese government, right? So Pai Ling was like, "Fuck that! No, we're not doing that. That's stupid." Right?
Yeah.
So Shih and Cheng Pao go back and they're like, all right, fuck it, we'll just keep doing what we're doing. So they keep pirating whatever for a couple more months, and then in April, Shih, she was like talking to her advisors or whatever, and she was like, I think I'm gonna go just talk to this guy like one on one. I just want to go talk to him, and they were like, don't do that, like that's a terrible idea. Don't do that. And she was like, I'm doing it anyway. So she travels to Pai Ling's like personal residence, but when she goes there, she brings like all of the wives and all of the children from the fleet. So all the pirates' wives and all the all the whores, all the children, she brings all of them with her, and she walks into this guy's like.
This doesn't sound like a good idea.
Like she walks into this guy's castle.
So who's Pai Ling?
So he's the government general of the area that controls Guangdong.
Okay.
So she walks into like his like personal residence, whatever, with all these people, and it was kind of like as a show of like this is like all like this is who we are, like this is like all like like all the people that I'm responsible for, whatever, and we're like we're not leaving essentially until you like she reiterated her term. She was like, I want immunity for all my men. Cheng Pao gets a head of official title, as do some of my men. And now instead of 80 ships, now I want 120 ships. I want an extra 40 so I can have ships to run the salt trade. And Pai Ling said okay, and he agrees to it. He let it. So to give you again a reference,
what the
Blackbeard was the way he went out was again so Blackbeard's reign lasted 2 years.
Yeah.
He went out in the middle of he got shot. They found his body with like 5 bullet holes in it and like 25 like sword marking, like they shot him and cut the shit out of him.
Poor guy got rocked.
Like Captain Morgan was a little bit better. He died peacefully in Jamaica from cancer, but they agreed to it, and she had her name changed to Ming Sao, which was like a mother of, like she raised her status to, and she retires to Canton, right, back in with her 2 kids. So she had 2 kids with Zhang Yi, the original pirate that she had married. Remember, the guy who brought her in.
Yeah.
So she had 2 kids with him. I don't know if I mentioned that before.
And then adopted one and
and then the adopted one.
Yeah.
So the adopted one and her stayed together. He ended up dying like 20 years later. In the storm also, the same way that Zhang Yi died, and people. So there was a rumor that maybe she had both of them killed, or maybe she had Zhang Yi killed so she could take the next step in the power. But that was, most people think that it was just the storm that killed them. Mm-hmm. But she retired back to Canton with her 2 kids, and during the Opium Wars, when England and China were at war over opium and everything. Which was essentially because opium was I don't know, you know about the Opium Wars or
very minimal.
Opium, is a drug. It was big in China and it was destroying China essentially because it was so addictive and so strong that it was like destroying the people of China. But it was also a huge commodity for England to sell and to make money through the illegal trade or whatever. So China went to war with England to get them to stop doing that, whatever. And while this war was going on, they came to her. They came to Shih for like military advice. They're like, how should we approach this?
And she was just a retired
pirate at this time.
Dang.
And she ended up dying I think like 65, but she died in her sleep, surrounded by her family and all of her gold in her room. Yeah.
What a crazy life that lady lived.
Most successful pirate of all time.
That's nuts. And then just to go out like that, go out on top.
Yeah.
Go out just retired.
Yeah.
Go retire back to the rice paddies.
And also to have so much respect, like they came like it's the Opium Wars. That's a big deal. And they came like we should go to Shih for advice. She'll know what to do. She'll know how to handle these fucking Brits. And yeah, that I don't know. Yeah, so sometimes I have a couple topics on this podcast that I want to bring. I want to just highlight people who I don't know, because when I had vaguely heard about this person. I vaguely heard about her like a couple years back, but not in a way that was,
Yeah, I've
memorable.
never heard of her before.
Yeah. Well, so what do you think?
That's crazy. I didn't know. First of all, when you said it was a Chinese pirate, I was already like, whoa.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that. I was thinking I thought the plot twist might be it was like one of those Haitian pirates.
Oh, like the Last Samurai or something like that,
Yeah.
where it's like some white dude. It goes over there and he's like, yeah, some Haitian goes over there and he's like the pirate in China or something like that.
Yeah, well, no. Before you said China, I thought it would be like a Haitian pirate.
Oh, like in Haiti.
Yeah,
Oh, like,
and I thought he had like one tugboat and like 3 men, and like that's how he was pirating.
yeah. I mean,
But then you said Chinese pirate, and I was like, okay. And then you said it was a lady because you kept saying they when I kept saying he, and I was like, why does he keep saying they?
'cause I'm woke.
And then you said she, and I was like, what a twist.
Yeah, especially at a time, she essentially was like an OnlyFans girl who became like the president of the United States. That's like the equivalent I had to think of,
Yeah,
because she went from being a prostitute to being the most powerful woman in China. At
and
one
it
point.
ended happily ever after for her.
Yeah, there was. Yeah, Blackbeard again got shot to death.
It's like a movie. It's literally like a movie.
Yeah, if I saw this in theaters, I'd go, that's nonsense. This is.
Yeah.
But she every step that she every time she saw an obstacle, she was like 2 steps ahead of it.
It must be crazy to retire after that. Like after having your own army, your own personal army, and then just being like, you know what, now I just gotta chill.
Yeah, the power rush to go from having 70,000 men at your control to being like, I'm just gonna, I don't know, raise my 2 kids.
But and she got to keep her personal ship still.
She had to keep. Yeah, they agreed to her conditions. So she had 80 ships with 5,000 men just to, if she wanted to, whatever, just to protection or whatever she wanted them to do. And she had another 40 ships for the salt trade, because she still had those ships that she had controlled from when she took over, when she stole them from the Chinese government. She still had a bunch of those ships, and she was, I'm still gonna make my money from those ships. Like they essentially negotiated with the terrorists, but it
That's crazy. So I wonder whatever eventually happened to those. Like when did they eventually get stopped?
what
You know what I mean? Like her personal pirating stuff. When was it that put to rest?
Well, 1810 is when they signed this agreement that she would. So 1810, they agree that she agrees to dismantle the pirating.
Yeah, no, but I mean her personal, the ship she got to keep. When did that all stop? I wonder. It was like passed down through generations and stuff, and then eventually there's like.
Oh, I don't know. I didn't dive into her kids. She had 2 kids.
That's another crazy thing to have, like, to be like old pirate money.
Yeah.
I wonder where that family lineage is now.
Is now, right? Yeah. I should have did more research into where they ended up. Like, yeah, turns out today they're I don't know any notable
Doing TikTok dances.
Chinese people, but
It's probably like the oil money people who have like gold Glocks and like gold Lamborghinis,
yeah.
but they're Asian, and they have pirate gold money.
So they're crazy rich Asians.
Crazy rich Asians. They might be crazy rich Asians now. That would be sick to be pirate crazy rich Asians.
Yeah.
Also, do you know what they dressed like at all? 'Cause I'm trying to imagine what an Asian pirate is dressed like.
You could imagine. You could use I mean, this was like the 1800s, so there's no. I could pull up a photo and put it like in the video or something.
That's what they look like. But I'm picturing like the classic white pirate look. I don't think they had.
With like a peg leg and like the patch over the eye.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a combination. A patch and then an Asian eye.
A very thin patch. Oh yeah, I wonder what that garb was all like. But no, that was a very good topic.
You like that?
I was really like half the time I would get so caught up in the story that I just wasn't even saying anything because I was like ready for the next thing that you were gonna say.
Yeah, I don't know how funny this was, but
no, it's very informative. I really like that.
It was fun to research at the very least. I hope you learned something. I'm hoping.
Yeah, I did. Learned this greatest pirate ever, some Chinese lady.
Ching Shih. Put some respect in her.
She had 8 names, dude.
Yeah, well, that's just So
and her boy, her 15-year-old boy that they brought.
Chang Pao.
Chang Pao. Poor guy. He never had kids with her?
I don't believe so. No.
Dang, dude.
He was also, I don't know, he was doing his own thing. He was,
Yeah, he was just a little background character.
who know in his mind, who knows what he was thinking.
He is the craziest one of that story.
Yeah, he got kidnapped.
Just
and then
gets
it's like,
snatched up, and you're like, yeah, you're my husband now. What the hell?
now
You're my son husband.
and now you're the leader of this army. So, just okay.
I guess I'll go along with it.
And then she controlled everything, and he just was a puppet essentially.
Dang. I wonder how long it took for them to go from like, yo, we're kidnapping you to like, this kid's kind of hot.
Well, that's why they kidnapped him. Apparently.
Oh, that's why they did.
Zhang Yi liked him. He was like, this guy is like the way he looks, and took him, and then had his fucked him.
I wonder if that's why Zhang Shi, what's her name?
Ching Shih.
Ching Shi. I wonder if that's why she was kind of anti-cheating, because her husband got this boy on the side, and she's like, you know what? If you guys get a boy, you get to chop your head off.
In that rule, I didn't mention it, but another part of that rule was it also mentioned like if the pirate queen cheats as well, then she's also like she put herself in the rule.
Oh, so she couldn't leave her boy.
Right. Yeah. So it was.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's good. That's a good lady right there.
She made sure monogamy was forced.
Good. I like her.
Yeah. Is that where we ended? Is that a?
I think so. Yeah.
That was a. What do you think, Theo? That was a good one. Yeah, that was a great one. Cool. Theo said it was good.
Hell yeah.
Good. Where can they find you?
Find me at Logan J. Quiroz on TikTok, on Instagram, on the dark web.
Relax and Laugh on Instagram. Almost History Podcast on Instagram and TikTok and YouTube. Check out Shoebox Comedy on Instagram. We'll be back with more history, conspiracies, historic figures, sports conspiracies, whatever.
Yeah, whatever we got.
Yeah.
Whatever you're willing to listen to. We're here to learn and teach.
Peace.